From nothing to now, chapter 1, you got to believe in yourself. You first have to see it. You first have to see a vision. You have to believe that you were born with a purpose. You have to believe that there is something that you have to accomplish that is good for yourself, for your family, loved ones, for the world, the universe. You have to believe that there is some good or something for you to accomplish. That's number one, right? And the fact that you're still breathing, the fact that you still have hope, and hope is registered by the fact that you're listening to this right now. Those things give us indication that in your spirit, there is something that you know is yet to be fulfilled. There's something for you to do. Right? You know that you can be better or greater or have a greater impact on the world, a greater purpose than what you have already done or are currently doing. That's where the hunger to read, to listen to things like this and to read books like my book come from. They're self-motivational, right? Right? They're inspirational. They're motivational to help encourage you, uplift you, and build you up to go towards a direction that your spirit is already telling you need to go. Right? So we're just kind of like workout buddies. We're encouraging. So chapter 1 would be, you want to be able to believe in your purpose. Believe that there's something greater for you. You want to be able to believe it to the point where that hunger must be fed. I'm going to give you this as an example. There has been times, literally years, when my income was not what it needed to be. I mean, and it just wasn't. And I could go get a job, and that job could sustain an average income, and I could, feed my family and that type of thing. Well, I'm going to feed my family. Praise the Lord. That's happening. My kids have never been homeless. They've never been without. I have been homeless, but my kids have not. They've never been without. They've never lacked what they've actually needed, and they've enjoyed most of what they wanted. Even when I was struggling, even when I was living in a box truck, under a bridge, I still made sure my children had provisions. I still made sure they never had to leave their home. They never had to miss a meal. They participate in gymnastics and sports and plays and go here and go there. So you still find a way while you're serving your purpose and pursuing your passion to still take care of your family. And it doesn't have to be a job. People would tell me, man, why don't you go get a job? Why don't you go do this and do that? And once you have that drive, once you have that hunger, that spirit, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a great job. There's absolutely nothing wrong with working for somebody else. In fact, business people work for other people the most, right? We work for different customers every day. So obviously there cannot be anything wrong with working for somebody else. The only difference between a business owner and the person who is an employee is the business owner has the insanity, if you will, to believe that he can not only provide for his family, but he can provide for other people's family. He's actually a person who has the audacity to want to build something that can last beyond his days, right? Whereas an employee is working for his family, and he's limited. He's only working paycheck to paycheck, literally, right? And even if you retire and you get retirement income, once you leave, that's it. Whereas a business owner is building something that once it's up and running and profitable, and all of the legals are in place, it literally can last. And as you've seen, businesses last hundreds of years beyond the founder's lifetime. So there's two different dynamics there, but there's nothing wrong with working a great job. And there's a lot of times when I wanted to do just that, and I have worked this job and that job to sustain myself from time to time. But the hunger, the belief that I have in myself, the belief I have in the ultimate power, in God, in the universal power, the omnipotent, to take me and take my education and take my drive and take my passion and take what it is that I believe I'm here to do, which is to bless other people, right? To help people, to bless, to make history makers is the way I look at it now. That drive, that passion has to be fed. And even when I've worked great jobs, I had a great job at a Mercedes dealership. Absolutely loved it. I was one of the top salesmen there, literally the top salesman, several months there. Absolutely loved it. It was a comfortable position. I drove what I wanted to drive. Everybody at the dealership, loved me and smiled when they saw me, and my customers loved me. It was wonderful, and well paying. But when you have, but it wasn't even though I was good at it, because I liked taking care of my clients and I liked just being a happy person, it was not fulfilling in making history makers. I knew it was not enough. It wouldn't have been enough for me to just be a car salesman. It wouldn't have been enough for me to manage. It wouldn't have been enough for me to even own the dealership, because those things only lead to consumerism. Those things are driven. That type of business is driven by consumers. It's driven by people, a lot of them making decisions they should not be making. There's a lot of people buying luxury cars that should not be buying luxury cars, right? It should really be reserved for those whose money and income is such that the buying it and the maintaining of that vehicle is a non-issue, right? I used to think if you can't afford this car cash, you really can't afford this car. And a lot of people would come in and they're buying it with their credit, wishing for better days, right? Hoping that the sky doesn't fall. But unfortunately, in real life, the sky does fall. So there are a lot of people that do that. And so my point to that is that even though I was very comfortable there, even though I really enjoyed that work, there was still that hunger, that pull, that unless you do more, this won't be enough. So you have to believe in yourself, and you have to see what it is that you were created for. You have to believe in that. Believe in it enough to be willing to be hungry sometimes, to be be ostracized sometimes, to be talked about and ridiculed, and have people wonder, why is it you insist that you can be an actor? Why is it that you insist you can be a great artist? Why is it that you insist that you can sing songs? Why is it that you insist that you can be a dynamic preacher or a great doctor or a teacher or whatever it is that your passion pulls you to? You'll find that there are so many people that will fight against what you're called to. And they don't understand that your calling, your spirit is simply calling for that. I mean, you yourself may not even understand sometimes why you're willing to work overnight security and sing all day in the studio. Even yourself, sometimes you might say, man, all of my friends are making XYZ dollars and buying houses and stuff. And here I am. I done flew to LA or New York or Chicago or wherever it is that people fly to become movie stars. And you may be waitressing. You may be working security at night. You may be, chauffeuring people. Whatever it takes, to just pay the bills while you're really pursuing your passion. You have to find something to believe in yourself. I want to start by telling you I believe in you. The fact that you're listening to this tells me that you believe there is something pulling you. There's something driving there's a fire in there, right? And so what we have to do is we have to take that fire, that little ember that refuses to die, no matter how comfortable a job, no matter what the circumstances. Kids need to eat, bills need to be paid, a wife threatening to leave. No matter what it is, you're still standing on that ember, that little fire that even you yourself can't run away from. Once you believe in yourself, and once you see what it is that you were created to become, what is your best life? Now, you may have lots of talents, right? And one of those talents might make you a great teacher, right? But your real passion may not be teaching. It may be playing, right? There's a lot of music teachers that really they're not music teachers because their dream was to be a music teacher. They're music teachers because they're covering the embers. They're trying to hold down the embers of the real passion. The real passion is to be a musician, right? And instead of them fighting that fight, that internal fight that says continue on to your passion, fight for it, do the work, do the drive, they succumb to it. They succumb to I got bills. They succumb to my kids need to eat. They succumb to things that we can all use as legitimate good excuses. But even those things are excuses. They're excuses because as a person with children, I just told you my kids have always eaten. Thank the Lord. They've always had a home to stay in. Thank the Lord. They've never gone without. Thank the Lord. They've traveled. Thank the Lord. All while their father has pursued the passion and the fire that God has given him to help motivate people like you. And as you listen to this, think about what if I would have succumbed to the naysayers? What if I would have succumbed to my ex-wife? What if I would have succumbed to anyone who said, don't pursue the big picture, just worry about yourself? You know, especially when you're in the box truck and it's 100 degrees out there, believe me, or when it's freezing cold, or when it's raining and you make the mistake that I did, drive under a tree and that tree cuts a hole in your box truck. Now you can't sit out in the rain. You got to duck under the overpass so that you don't get rained on. But there are a lot of days when I ask to myself, man, what is it that pulls you, drives you to where you won't just go take a job and be average? And I've accepted the fact, and I came to the realization that my belief in me, my courage about myself, my belief in myself, my self-esteem, my belief that if the omnipotent is with me, there is nothing that I cannot accomplish, is so strong that even homeless, even in a 100-degree box truck, even with my wife saying goodbye and good riddance, even with everything that it was costing me, the purpose and the drive was still there. Find something that you can focus on that pushes you to be whatever your passion is, whatever your purpose is, no matter what. As long as it's not, intentionally hurting other people. Now, if your passion is selling drugs, I don't support that. I'm making the assumption that your passion would be something productive and constructive to yourself and to all mankind. Okay? And that your way of going about it would be as productive and constructive as it can be. Right? So I don't subscribe to the end result is justified. The means is justified by the end result. I'm not a big Jay-Z fan or a fan of, Beyonce or anyone who would, sell their soul, sell drugs, sell sex, anything like that to get, somewhere and then try to, clean wash it with money. And I don't want to just use those names. Anyone who has used criminal activity and then now are cleansing their money, whitewashing their money through legitimate means, that's not something for us to look at. So what I want to encourage you and what I'm hoping to encourage you to do is to find a right way to build up yourself towards your passion. I'm Odell Dovey from Nothing to Now. Believe in you. I believe in you. You believe in you. Let's do what we do. From nothing to now.